start the service a little bit differently this morning. Is that better?
How can we all go with it?
Hello. There you go. Here I am. We're going to start the service a little bit differently this morning because Veterans Day is tomorrow. We're going to recognize our veterans and things and sing some patriotic songs. So our first song that the choir is going to sing is on page 364. We invite you to sing along and to stand up for those that can and want to. The choir is going to sing several verses, but we're all going to sing the first verse. So if you'd like to stand and sing with us, that would be great. I might be human. April Ellenburg, our speaker today, has told me. I think it's true. All right, anyway, we're going to start with the daily word, and that's going to be read by Deb Goodman.
The daily word for today, pray for others. I trust God in you. It's been said that a friend is someone who knows the truth for you until you can know it for yourself. As I pray for others, my intention is to not solve problems, but to simply know the truth, to see the situation rightly. As I receive a prayer request, I remember that the one for whom I pray is an expression of God, made in God's image and likeness. As I pray for healing, I affirm God's life expressing. As I pray for prosperity, I affirm God's wisdom and understanding are guiding the one for whom I pray to greater abundance. As I pray about a relationship concern, I affirm that God's love is active in everyone involved. I pray in faith, affirming I trust God in you for each one I hold in prayer. I have prayed for you that your own faith may not fail. Luke 22:32.
There was another problem. Can you hear me now?
No.
Testing. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna move. Speaking of prayer, let us pray. Let us turn within, where the power of God's love lives deep within our heart. Let us take a deep breath, centered in divine love, the love that casts out fear, eases tension, and brings peace. With every heartbeat, divine life pulses, bringing relief and release to every part of our body. With every breath, wholeness radiates within, and each cell vibrates with the fullness of life. We rest with ease in our true state of wholeness, peace, and well-being. Let's take another breath. And silently pray for our friends and family who could not be with us this morning, holding them in our higher consciousness and sending them love and blessings. Amen and amen. Our hymn for this morning is on page 363, Mine Eyes Have Seen the Glory. And again, if you feel comfortable, please stand.
Verse 1 and 3.
Let's read our statement of being found on the inside cover. God is all, both invisible and invisible. One presence, one mind, one power is all. This one that is all is perfect life, perfect love, and perfect substance. I am an individualized expression of God. I am one with this perfect life, perfect love, and perfect substance. And read on the back page our statement of purpose together. The purpose of Unity East Church is to teach the universal principles of truth as taught and demonstrated by Jesus Christ and interpreted by unity. Our mission is to rediscover the guiding spirit of God's presence within us and willingly demonstrate His creative purpose in our lives. Our announcements for today are on the inside of the tan color paper. We're going to have a Thanksgiving potluck dinner on Sunday, December 1st. No, November 24th. I'm getting the church decorating dates mixed up. Sunday, November 24th. There's a sign-up sheet in the bookstore. It's sort of in the back corner.
No, we moved it.
Oh, it's
It's
moved.
out by the last table.
Okay, sign-up sheet is out by the last table. Ron McGrew and John Hogan have graciously said that they would make the turkey, so that's wonderful. So we just need to bring this out. So that's that. The church decorating committee, that's the one that's December 1st. We're going to have a light lunch. We're going to call it church decorating party. So everyone will stay and help. Not everyone, but a few or a lot of people will stay and help. That is on Sunday, December 1st. And we're going to have soup and sandwiches, a light lunch before we start, and that will be provided. So I think we'll have a good time. You know, a lot of people help. It won't take very long. The Global Mandela Project, I'm going to let Betty discuss during our coffee hour. And she can explain that. This is a really nice program that the church in Georgia has started. We have prayer partners at the front of the church if anybody is needing prayer after the service. Still not working. In and out. Oh, I really like this one. Okay, I just have a couple more announcements. Is this too loud now? Okay. Linda Ridley, our licensed Unity teacher candidate, has provided our lending library with 30 more books. Our library is so full with wonderful, wonderful books, and she's provided 30 more. And we want to thank you, Linda, for that. So the Lending Library Committee is meeting after the coffee hour this morning to prepare the books for the library by just taking the sleeve and the little card in the front cover. And if there's anybody else that would like to come and join us to do that, it would make it go a lot faster. I wanted to tell you that our library consists of many Unity books and New Thought books, New Age and Ancient Wisdom books. Take a moment to browse through our library and just borrow them, use them. I mean, we have a lot of rich information there. And I wanted to mention, I've already asked them, that tomorrow is Armistice Day. How many remember the name Armistice Day? Now they changed it to Veterans Day, yes. So I hope we all find a few moments tomorrow to remember the soldiers and that fought for our country so that we could be free. Our speaker this morning is April Ellenburg. April is a licensed Unity teacher and the director of Youth and Family Ministry at Unity of Royal Oak. She's also a Reiki master. She's active volunteer in hospice and the Coleman 3-day walk. And she works as an executive assistant in corporate America. So welcome. I meant to ask too, are there any new people today? First time timers? Welcome. What's your name? Shelley. Welcome, Shelley. The usher will bring you away. Gift packet. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, hi. And what are your guys' names?
Kimberly and Dave.
Kimberly and David. Welcome. And another one over here. This is wonderful.
It's actually not my first time at Unity. I actually used to come when we met in college. but I've been here a long time.
She said she used to come to Unity East when they met at the college. And what was your name?
Kara.
Karen. Welcome. We invite all of you to sign our guest book in the back of the church and include your email, and we will keep you updated on our activities. And Betty?
I'd like to recognize anyone that was in the military, if they could stand.
Anyone that is So I'm going to introduce Marina. Yeah. I didn't take my ginkgo biloba today. Marina on keyboard, and Nancy Motrick and the choir is going to do our music today. So they're going to sing the Lord's Prayer. Oh, Connie Spector is going to sing the Lord's Prayer, and then April will lead us in meditation.
Collectively take a deep breath. And feel the love in the space and the promise that comes from the Lord's Prayer. Just bring your attention to your heart space, that safe place where only love exists. And allow all that came before this moment just to fall away and rest in the arms of Spirit that is always with you wherever you are. We know that as we go into the silence, God is, peace is, love is. I invite you to imagine welcoming others into that space with you. Invite in your family and your friends. Invite the person sitting next to you into that space in your heart. Invite into your heart those that you may have once have put out of your heart. Invite into your heart strangers, those that you've never even seen before, remembering in that space that we are all one. And from your heart, allow the light of God to shine forth, imagining it reaching far beyond the physical cells of your body. The light within you shines beyond this room, beyond these walls, beyond this physical state, connecting with the light of all others. The light shines forth into the memories that we carry of the past and into the hopes of the future.
how far that light can reach in your imagination. The depths of your heart as far as the light can take you. And know that the light of God expands so far beyond even that. As you bring your attention back to your heart space, turn that love inward to you, embracing you in that love and that light, loving you, all of you in this moment. Knowing that you are the love and the light that is God. Let's take the next moment to focus on that love, on the breath of light that moves through you. As you return your attention to your breath, allowing it to bring your attention back to this room and this space. When you're ready to open your eyes, I invite you to look around and notice the love and the light in the other people in this room. And in whatever way is meaningful to you, through a nod or a smile or a praise of whatever kind, just give thanks to God. Recognize the love in the eyes that you look into. And the love that resides within you. And so it is. Now if you'll join me in singing, I believe, the congregational response. My throat's a little sore, so you guys need to do it louder than me. Oh my God.
Thank you.
remind me often to give things a try. The singing, wow. So, good morning, it's so exciting. I see a lot of familiar faces. Some from my home church, some from classes, and it's just really great. I love how we can come together from all over the place and we still have the same spiritual family that resides. And it's really a heart space, isn't it? Good. Then he asked me for my title of my talk. And what popped in my head was No Fear November. And I look forward to sharing why with you. But it was kind of a funny moment a little over a week ago. And I caught myself. You ever just have thoughts where your own mind just runs with it, and you're like, what? Really, where did that come from? And what happened was I flipped on the radio on my way to work. And there was Christmas music. I'm like, now I like Christmas music, so I embrace it a little smoother than others. But the song that was on was, it's the most wonderful time of the year. And I caught myself literally laughing out loud. I'm like, really? But is it really the most wonderful time of the year? On one hand, it is. I mean, look at fall. The beautiful changing of the leaves, the sweatshirt weather. Oh, I love sweatshirt weather. Football, for those who are into that. Pumpkin spice, for those of us who are into that. And as we go into Christmas, the beautiful lights. And yet, on the other hand, there's all the other stuff, right? The stress, the anxiety. I mean, even, you have my people I know who say autumn's their favorite season, and yet they spend most of it in anxiety about winter. Right? I used to do that really, really hard. I'm like, oh my gosh, but winter's coming, and I caught myself making fall miserable. Because I was worrying and freaking out about the snow that wasn't even here yet. And even when it gets here, we can't control it. I mean, if we could, we wouldn't have had snow for many years. Since I would have stopped it on my own. But how often do you do that, though? Right? In all of life, we do that. Even little things like the Christmas music. Oh my goodness. Do you know how many people I've heard complain about it? Rather than like, why is Christmas music at the beginning of November? Why do we have to rush everything? Why are there Christmas supplies in the stores already? And it's like, you can turn the channel, right? They're not all playing Christmas music. There's like 2 or 1.5 really. One completely and the other one a little bit. Change the station. Or don't go down the Christmas aisle in the store. Because we're totally missing the joy and the love, the peace, the meaning of all of the season, of every day. We miss the present moment. And we do that in so many areas of our life. So I just laugh because it's the most wonderful time of the year. As, kids are getting snapped at for eating the cookie that wasn't meant to be eaten until later when everyone else shows up. And someone else is yelled at for moving the decorative towel that apparently isn't used to actually try anybody's hands. I mean, that's not only happened to me. I've done it. And don't ever be touching that towel. Don't you see the sand on that towel? Meanwhile, water's dripping all over my floor that now I had about that. There's a response on the floor that I just cleaned. And then you have, those who are really stressed and depressed about money, the financial burden, and not being able to provide enough. You have people grieving when they've lost somebody. Maybe this year, or maybe they're still missing someone they lost 20 years ago. This month marks 30 years for my father and 20 years for my mom since they've been gone. I still think of them, especially at the holidays. And then you have people who are alone and maybe don't have anybody to eat Thanksgiving dinner with. Every one of those feelings are true. But they're not always facts. Feelings aren't facts, but they're true for the person. So you do have those people, and I can sometimes be this one, chipper and cheery about the holidays. I am willing to turn on the Christmas music on November 1st. I'm okay with that. I know all the words to Christmas music. I once had a friend in hospice at the end of her life. She used to call me at night and ask me to sing to her. I'm like, really? And this is, sometimes she'd say, pray. I got that. I can pray. I can pray, I can meditate, I can do that. But sing, we sing. And it was mid-June. And it turns out the only songs I know the words to off the top of my head are Christmas songs and kids' songs. And I can sing along to every song that's on the radio. But when I have to sing just out in the open, I hope you like Jingle Bells. That's all I got. And then there's people hating on the ones that are chipper. It's like you can't go either way. Some people, if somebody's sad and stressed, like, cheer up, come on, it's the most wonderful time of the year. And then there's other people who are like, would you take it down a notch? Why are you so happy? Christmas music should be on right now. Don't you see the snow on the roads? It's like the beginning of November. But it's not new. The snow's come in November for, I don't know, as long as I can remember. And what if we embrace it? Even the snow. How many people say, oh, come on, every time I've complained about the snow, and it really worked on that, and I remember that, but I have had almost half of everybody that's ever heard me say, but come on, you have to admit it's beautiful. So which part are you looking at? Are you standing in the complaint aisle? Did you take that number? You know, I've seen the little things like, you have a complaint, take a number, decline. Are you that person or the one enjoying it? Right? It's true. You know how many times in the scriptures God promises to be there with us? Multiple times. And yet, when we are so tied up in the stress and the anxiety, in all the what-ifs, in the ideas that we have of how things should be, we forget that God's even a part of any of it. We forget to see the Christ within one another. We forget that we're even individuals, humans. Other people have feelings too. And because we're so wrapped up in our own. But they didn't do it my way. You know, this family member is going to do this on Thanksgiving. You know, I have to laugh. Years ago, I was, my family, my aunts have passed, and since I've had a few cousins, I have to get along. One of them is currently mad at me for not being mad at another, so nobody talks. I mean, it's really... There's two things that bring out the lunatic in people's minds. Death, sadly. I mean, families act up in ways you can't even imagine. And the holidays. And it's like, well, who are you? Like, take a breath, right? And I'll never forget when I was fussing, actually, to Reverend Rick Beatty from Royal Oak about my cousin. And he's the opposite of everything that I value in humans. I'm sorry, I love him, and I recognize the Christ in him. I just can't see it when he's in front of me. And that's okay. We don't have to like everybody, right? But I go because of my aunt, and I was fussing about something I found really judgmental that he did. And I tend to be that person who wants to protect. When someone's hurting others, I want to leave them alone, be nice, you know. And Rick looked at me, he said, you know, April, you don't have to go. What a simple truth. But it was such an aha moment. I'm like, that never crossed my mind. I don't have to go to Thanksgiving and Aunt Sally's. That's brilliant. Really. And I'm telling you, you don't even have to have a turkey if you don't want it. But what's interesting is what that statement did for me. Because I was really like, whoa. I mean, you would have thought he just like gave me winning lottery numbers or something, seriously. It was a profound statement to me. But what it did is it caused me to go in and think about why I go. Why do I go? What is it? What is my expectation? What is it that I want from this? What am I getting from it? And sometimes that may mean you have to let others down by not going, or by not inviting that one person, or whatever it is. But often it brings us back to the heart of the why. It brings us back to remembering the love, the family, the gathering. It brings us back, maybe not to that person that drives you nuts, because we all have at least one in the family, maybe 5, but some more. But sometimes it also brings us back to remembering who our real family are. For a while after my aunt's passed, I was really upset with my cousins for not playing nice in the sandbox. They weren't being the family I wanted. And it dawned on me that, wait, they never had that. But I was so busy looking at this and what they weren't doing that I wanted, sometimes when I'm in my sarcastic mode, I'm like, family's got a sense of humor. I mean, just playing with you to see what you can take. I mean, I'm sure something can be that way. My kids, they're either, 20s and 30s now, and they roll their eyes at me all the time. I'm probably that family member, who knows? But the truth is that we forget the love, we forget the one, we forget the Christ within all of it. And because of all of that, we miss the present moment. There are so many things to really enjoy, to love, to find peace in. In John 4:18, 1 John 4:18, simple statement just says, there is no fear in love. That's powerful. The two can't exist at the same time. When you are focusing on love, that's all that exists. And when we forget that, when we forget love, when we forget God, then we slip into the fear. Now, I don't want to be like the stores. But if we could for just a minute, take a look at Mary, the mother of Jesus. Yes, I'm going to Christmas, but don't worry, I'm not telling the Christmas story. Automatically being, the stores. But imagine being in Mary's shoes. She trusted God completely to be with her through all of the events leading up to Christ's birth. And actually, she'd be pregnant at this stage of the game, so I'm not ahead of the story, right? I'm still in there. But God presented her with a really scary situation. I mean, she was going to have to go into this time in her life where she was going to be judged, misunderstood, probably treated poorly. We know for sure treated poorly, right? Treated so unfairly for something she didn't even choose. And yet, she did so with faith. She did so trusting that no matter what, God was going to be there with her. How often do we remember to trust God? Versus how often we put our faith in the chaos. We put our faith in knowing for sure that that family member is going to ruin our holiday. I love Byron Katie is an author who wrote many books, but Loving What is one of her first and one of my favorites. And she talks about how you don't have to love everything. But what if you just take off the labels, right, wrong, good, bad? How would you be different if you didn't worry or even call it bad that that family member may not share the pie, Thanksgiving or whatever, may act up a little bit? I mean, we spend so much time in advance. Starting with, it's funny, all the decorations come out at Halloween for Christmas. Well, so do the fears and anxieties. We're right in line with the stores. We can't be mad at them. We're doing the same thing, just in our own minds. And we jump right into that. But how would you be different? How would your holidays be different? How would your experience be different? If you didn't look forward to it, put your faith in it, and call it wrong, that your family or your friends or your church or anybody else may not do things as you think they should be done. Now, I'm not saying you're going to do different, but if you didn't label it as bad, just imagine how you would shift inside. You might be a little closer to it being a wonderful time of the year, right? If you just consider for a moment that one thing that pops in your mind for holidays, maybe there's many, but the first thing, what if you didn't call it bad? What if you didn't know for sure that that person was going to do whatever on Christmas? You might have more peace today, 2 full months before Christmas. Instead, we give our power away, we give our faith away to the things that make us miserable. Where in your story do you put your trust? Do you put your faith? Really check in with that. Mary's response to God in that moment invites us to make God bigger. We were made in the image and the likeness, meaning we have all the abilities that Jesus had. To be kind, to love, to forgive, to not judge. Now again, that doesn't always mean that person, in front of you that drives you nuts is going to suddenly transform. I mean, we can't change other people, right? Only ourselves. But we have that choice to change ourselves. And again, sometimes it means don't invite that person or don't go to that place. If it's something that really takes you to a place of hurt or misery, don't do it. You actually have that choice. I tried to boycott my family for a couple of years ago, because I was pretty upset with some judgments that were made, not on me, but in general, prejudices and whatever. And what's really funny is what I discovered is that me making a stand just meant I was cooking the full dinner at my house. For lesbians. Nobody got my point. Nobody changed. Nobody shifted their belief system. I mean, how dare they? But my point wasn't made at all. Honestly, I'm not even sure most of them noticed I wasn't there. That's not even the sob story. Seriously, I'm not even sure most of them noticed. And yet, also, how often do we step up and say, hey, this is hurtful, or this isn't healthy for me, or even look at that? How are you allowing yourself to be? Because it's your choice. Are you living in the what ifs? Actually, what ifs are one of my favorite things. Because I like to look at what if this fabulous thing happened? What if this went really wonderful? What if not everybody's good about playing in their imagination. That's one of my favorite things. That's certainly my favorite power, is my imagination. And maybe that's why I'm a youth director. Kids are so comfortable playing in their imagination. But I also often ask people who are in that spiral of how everything can go wrong, I often invite people, just for a minute, can we just play with the idea of what could go right? Just maybe. Tell me something that might be able to go right. And most people get stumped and go, well, it won't go that way because. Well, how do we know? I mean, you could do something totally different, which would put you in a situation which means it could go different, right? You get to choose what this most wonderful time of the year looks like. I once heard, I believe it was Michael Beckwith, say that worry is like rehearsing for the worst possible outcome. You're practicing reading the script, thinking about it, planning for it, picking out your outfit for it, right? You even plan meals around it. Oh, well, this person doesn't like this, so I'm going to have to make this extra dessert, and I'm going to have to do this. And often we don't even pause to go, or you make what you want because it brings you joy, or you ask someone else to bring something. When my aunt got sick, she had told us that she wasn't going to be able to do as much for Thanksgiving. Well, okay, we can all pitch in. So what do you want me to do? She goes, bring me a dozen eggs and some whipped cream. Well, that's not helpful. I just saved you $1.27 and you're still doing all the work. I mean, that's just silly. We have this need for control. We have this need to make things look a certain way. Now, I've never watched Bridezilla, the TV show. I'm not sure that's the name of it. But we've heard about it. And look at that. I mean, we all do this annually at holidays. But look, we think it's so absurd when a bride goes crazy. And she's yelling at everybody, making everyone miserable. She wants her day to be perfect. And at the end of that perfect day, that one day that she thinks is supposed to be the best day of her life, she hasn't even noticed it because she's been so busy barking at everyone for not doing everything she wants or doing it all herself. And yet, imagine a wedding, a holiday, a Thanksgiving dinner, where you are in the middle of a park with a picnic basket and some peanut butter and jelly with the people you love most. What if the turkey burns? Order pizza. I mean, what if someone doesn't show up? I used to hold a Christmas party, and one year I decided what goes in control, and I signed out potluck things. Everybody signed up, just like we do here, and the person who wanted to make the main dish was 3 hours late. No turkey. And it was, somebody else brought ham we didn't know about, so it worked out great, but I'll never forget, someone said to me, I was sharing that story, I said, well, we have to, have people sign up, and this was at a different event. And somebody looked back at me and said, well, why? If 40 people bring cake, we'll have cake. Like, oh, the stress relief. Because who cares if for one day you just have cake for dinner? I mean, most of us fantasize about that one day, right? I mean, seriously. So, yeah, right? I mean, sometimes, we never get that dessert at the restaurant because we're too full. What if we started with dessert? What if we just release that and remember why? Why do you invite the people over that you do? Hopefully because you like them. I mean, don't invite the people you don't like. You know? But what if the cable went out? Now you can't watch all the, Hallmark movies. Play Monopoly, you don't need it. Play cards, share memories. I mean, truly, if all we had was that moment of togetherness, that's the greatest gift. We think that gifts are supposed to look a certain way, and Thanksgiving dinner is supposed to look a certain way, and we're even supposed to have certain candy to pass out to the kids, even though 4 showed up because it was yucky weather, right? All that perfect candy, now you have to eat. But truly, when we release that, it's in the releasing of us trying to live up to a certain picture in our mind. That's where the joy comes in. That's where the most wonderful time of the year comes in. And we get to choose that any day we want, not just at Christmas or Thanksgiving or St. Patrick's Day. I don't know how to St. Patrick's Day. Whatever holidays or thing. And I know that there's crazy things happening in the world. I know that there's problems that have to be resolved and issues to be worked out. I know that there is that one person that maybe comes along with a family member you do want, and they bring that one. There's going to be things that aren't the way we want them to. But again, are those really the source of your anxiety and your fear and your stress? Or is it because you've forgotten the reason we do it in the first place, and you have forgotten God's presence? Where is it that that fear and anxiety and that stress and that chaos really come from? Most of the time it's because we're up here with somebody else's influence telling us what we should have been doing. One of the things that I told my kids after my family, we really don't have much family anymore, just us. I said, well, what's really cool? Because they were kind of stuck in some of the, oh man, now we won't be able to do this, and we don't get to do that. I said, now we get to create our own traditions. What kind of traditions should we create? And let's get fun and wild with it. And it's funny because one of the things I started doing is I make a turkey breakfast, like Thanksgiving breakfast rather than the turkey later in the day. Because they go on to their dads and their boyfriends, they're adults now. You get to transform it any way you want. Maybe it is just sitting in front of the TV with, a microwave dinner, watching your favorite movie together. What a great tradition that would be. Or something that made you laugh and the people you really love. You get to choose what it looks like. Angel Gabriel, when he went to Mary before all this, kind of, prepping her, right, for this crazy scenario that she was about to enter into. Can you really imagine? It's such a beautiful story, but can you actually imagine if that happened to you? I don't know, at this point in my life, I have a debate with God, Babies become teenagers, we're not doing that, pick someone else. But what if Gabriel's message was for all of us? Gabriel simply said, do not be afraid. We have so many fears around so many things, not just this season. So even, people look at the tree, oh, it's so beautiful. Yeah, but I'm going to have to rake the leaves. We are so quick to shift with the things that bring us unhappiness. What if we just stay just for a moment and how beautiful it is? What if we pulled out some crayons and drew the tree, or changed our handprints for the leaves, the things we used to do as kids when all we knew was joy? You can too. If you didn't know that, I give you that permission to play, to have fun. Some adults seem to think that they have to be serious. My daughter thinks you're supposed to be serious. But you don't have to. Play, sing. Find out what would make this season the most wonderful time of year for you. One of the things when I think about this is about how we try to cram in so much extra. One of my challenges that I have worked through in most of my life is the management of time. And yet, when I realize that I get to pick and choose what brings me joy, I've suddenly learned how to say no to things. And one of the greatest lessons I ever learned, it's funny because it was in a computer class I took, teaching us how to use Outlook to manage your priorities, your tasks. And the teacher said, just remember that every yes is also a no. And what he was saying, I learned a long time ago, Unity is really good at not teaching you self-care and learning to say no to the things you don't want. But this was an enlightening moment for me because what it taught me was that when I say yes to this, or these 18 different places I have to go for Thanksgiving, is how many people, especially once you're married or divorced or have grown kids, you have to hop. So you try to stagger. All right, well, I can't do this, but if you can do breakfast, I can make your lunch. And if you can do lunch before 3, then that would be really great because I need to be over there for 6. But I need to be back home for the football game. I don't watch football, so I don't know what time that is. But we do that. It's true, though. When I realized that when this guy said this, every yes is also a no. When you're saying yes to all this, what are you saying no to? Are you saying no to you? Are you saying no to self-care? Again, you're risking being out of favor with people. Because everyone thinks their thing is the thing, the most important thing for you. But if somebody told you, looked at you, you invited them somewhere, and you said, you know what, I think what's best for me today is just to do this. Most people aren't going to go, well, that's ridiculous, don't do what's best for you, do what's right for me. Most people are going to say, some will feel that way. And you know what? Forgive them anyway. It's okay. We've also felt that way. And yet, usually the only thing that comes from that, when we're taking things personal, is because we think they don't like us or whatnot. But if you tell them, if you just decline and say, this is what's best for me, I'm a little overwhelmed right now. Maybe I can't do it all. And when the pressure gets to you, pause, meditate, pray. Truly allow yourself to create the surrounding that you desire. In Philippians 4:6, it says, do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your request to God. It's really the key to it, is to remember that right where you are, God is always. And those fears, those worries, those stresses and anxieties, whether it be the gifts, or the finances, or the meal planning, just take a breath and allow yourself what is the right thing in that moment. Truly pray and meditate. We talk about, we teach about, learn about those things all the time in Unity. But how many of those things actually go out the front door with you when you leave? And do you actually practice in your life? We all know it. We know it works. But especially when all of this stuff, the chaos and the time management and the schedules and all the pressure gets to us, the best thing we can do for ourselves is take a break and return to what we know to be true. So I invite you to do a few things. Today, this week, over the next couple of months as we go through all of these different times, as we move through the best time of the year. I invite you to choose love over fear. Truly look and acknowledge what brings you fear, what causes anxiety. Because only if you are willing to look at what it is, can you change it. And if you're feeling that, I invite you to give yourself permission to step back. Maybe it's just a breath you need. We've all had those moments where we wanted, well, maybe we didn't want to, but in that moment we were about to be that person snapping and fussing and slapping the hand on the decorative towel, or whatever it is, right? We're mad at the person for putting their finger in the cake. And yet, when a kid does it, when the cute 2-year-old does it, we're like, aw. Give yourselves permission to be human, as I said in the beginning, right? There's going to be moments when we screw it up. And what if that's okay? What if it's okay to turn out just however it is? Because if you could just be present with people that bring you joy, there's such peace in that. It really becomes the greatest moment. One of my favorite shows that I learned about when I was out of work some years ago was Grey's Anatomy. I went through many, many seasons on Netflix. I'm not sure that's a healthy thing. Binge watch 13 seasons. You'll be done in 3 months. But one of the things I loved is that the friends sometimes would, if they were having a rough time, would just go knock on the other person's door and just sit next to the couch or crawl into bed and just be there with them. It didn't have to be about telling them what's wrong or working through the problem or complaining, but just that presence. Can you imagine? I'm one of those corny people who loves the idea of sitting around the Christmas tree, singing carols and drinking eggnog. And what if that's all it had to be? Truly. It doesn't even have to be rum in the eggnog. Just saying. Actually, I've never even tried that, so maybe it's a good thing, I don't know. But what if you just took joy in the simple things, in the presence of the love in your life? But I also invite you to speak out, and to speak up, to reach out. To remember that there are people who are really struggling during this time of year. I'm not just talking about finances, although there's so many resources. Please speak up, speak out. Whether it be that you simply don't have the turkey for your family, tell somebody. There you are, surrounded by a community of love. And not just in these walls. But also reach out to the people who are grieving, who are missing someone. Be the presence, be in the space with them. Reach out to the people who may not have anywhere to go. And don't assume that if they don't speak up that they're fine. And don't feel like speaking up is going to make anyone feel obligated. What I'm inviting you to do is return to the memory that we are all one. And as two or more gather, there's such power in that. Look back at the lessons of Jesus. They are for everybody, every type of person. Lifting others up, welcoming them in. Maybe you can open a space at your table that's here for someone. And maybe you can, yes.
This week, I received a note in the mail that said, "Heroes wear capes, veterans wear dog tags." And with that, I think, as your fear in November, as one of our greatest fears is Veterans Day. Because we have to go back and remember and give thanks that we are here.
Yes. Thank you for that,
Pray
Dave.
for those that didn't.
Pray for those that are struggling with any fear, with memories that haunt them. And you know what I know for sure? Is that not all heroes wear capes. Heroes don't always wear dog tags or a uniform. Heroes show up by inviting that person who has nowhere else to go to dinner. Heroes show up when they just sit next to the person in silence and offer their hand to hold when they're grieving. Heroes show up in many ways. And the truth is, there's many people struggling. And that's why I say speak out, speak up, reach out. Just be in a place of love with people. Be willing to make amends, be willing to forgive. Be willing to set boundaries. I mean, to lovingly take care of you so that you can be present for others, you have to do that, whatever is necessary for you. And maybe that means letting that one person go. Write love notes, not notes of judgment. But seriously, write somebody a thank you note, a love note, a note of appreciation.
Just because.
Just because. It doesn't take moving mountains to make a difference. You, each and every one of you, is making an impact in this world. You are part of creating the stress and the chaos and the insanity, or the love, the peace, the inclusion, the warmth. And you get to choose. You get to choose. Matthew 25:40, it says, "Truly I tell you, whatever you did for one of the least of these brothers or sisters of mine, you have done for me." My friends, I invite you not only to look at what you are doing for yourself, because that's the person we usually miss out most, so I'm going to start with that. But after you look at what is healthiest for you, how can you then help somebody else find what is healthiest for them? We're in this together. And we can do it the hard way. We can cry and scream and kick our feet. Actually, it would probably be really healthy if we did like Tyler did, just got it out. Because sometimes that's how we feel. Right? I feel that way sometimes. I don't know about anyone else. You know, if you need to, take a pillow and hit the chair with it instead of yelling and screaming at someone else. But then love yourself so that you can love the next person. Because when you're able to love the next person, they're better able to love themselves. So this time of year, any time of year, really can be the most wonderful. If you choose it. Every day, sometimes minute by minute. And remind each other often. Speak up when you have those experiences. Reach out when you know somebody just needs that friendly reminder to know that they're not alone. You're not alone. And thank you for your service to all of those who have served. Whether it be in the military, or a first responder, or a teacher, or a friendly neighbor, or a nice congregant that welcomes a new person. You are all heroes, and you're all making and creating this season, this new birth, this life that lives within us and rises up within us, and that we have the opportunity to mold and to shape and to spread. Let's choose love over fear. If you're willing, this can be the first of many No Fear Novembers. And the whole, people like the hashtags and the themes of kids, right? And maybe we take it on. Maybe we accept it as a challenge. What would it take for this November to be free of fear? Because it really just takes looking at the light, which always outshines the darkness, and standing in love, where in that moment fear cannot exist. Thank you. One thing I'd like you to do as we give our offering is first and foremost to remember what we're doing. We're not just giving money so the lights can be paid. When you put an offering in the bag, first, I please invite you to also put love in there. Because whatever we give is returned to us tenfold, 100-fold. I mean, just multiply. So put love in there as well, even if you're not giving a monetary donation. Place your love and your blessings and your prayers in that bag. And remember that what we're doing when we place money in that bag is we are acknowledging God as our source. Not our job, Social Security, not our spouse. God is our source. And God is unlimited. And God is within you and shows up in ways that you don't even need to know how to make happen. So just remember, as you put your blessings into that bag, you are thanking God for providing for all of your needs, not just financial, but the needs of the heart, needs mind, body, and spirit, and put your love in there. So as we pass these bags, we'll come back and bless them afterwards. If you will join me as we're getting ready to pass the bags, we'll bless them afterwards in the offering prayer with me. Linda, I feel like you need to join me on this because I know there's a part that I never remember. Would you like to come up and join me? No? Okay, well, for those who know me well, that's my response. All right, so just, it's on the envelopes if you need to read it. The whole thing, or just
Yes.
Do I have an envelope? Oh no, this part I know. There's an extra part that she says. Ask her to share it with you sometime. There, now I can run stuff. There's a whole other paragraph to it. Now you know. I don't know what it is, but now you know it exists in Linda's mind. And other places too, not just there. I'd like to learn it at some point, but this part I know. Thank you. If you don't know it, please read the back of your offering. Together, divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. God, we know that as we bless this offering, as we put our offerings into these bags, you are hearing our prayers and our love, and you are returning these blessings and these tithes to us, multiplied and running over, knowing that all of our needs are met. Together, if you would, just bring your attention to what you're putting into that bag and join me as we just thank God for the opportunity to give of our time, our talent, and our treasure, for the opportunity to give of love, to choose love, and to release fear. And so it is. Thank you, God. God, we thank you for this opportunity to give and to receive. And we know that these gifts will go forth and bless many. We thank you for this space, this humble home of spiritual family members who gather, knowing that these offerings bless them and create a safe space for them to return. And so with our gratitude and our love, we simply say thank you, God, as we see these offerings go forth to do only good. And so it is. Now we're gathering, right, for our prayer. Are we gathering in a circle?